f of x is given like this. They are asking what is f of x. So, that means we have to find what is f of x. So, that is the meaning of this. Now, students, they have not told us what is x. So, they have not told what is x. What is x? That means you have to go for both the cases. That means in case 1 you have to take x is rational or irrational, whatever. In case 2 you have to take the other one. In case 2 you have to take x is irrational. So, you have to analyze the cases like this. Okay. Now, we will go to case 1. Okay. Suppose x is rational. Then okay, now we will talk about f of x. So, if x is rational, what happens is, what is f of rational? Now, you know f of rational is x. So, f of x is x if x is rational. So, what happens is f of x will be x. So, f of x will be x. Now, this f is there. Yeah. Now, again we get x. Okay, but again x is rational only. So, f of x is same x. So, therefore, now x was rational. So, this will be rational. Okay. Now, again what is f of rational? Now, f of rational is again x. So, therefore, you get the answer as x in this case. Now, we will go to case 2. We will go to case 2. Suppose x is irrational. Suppose x is irrational. Now, in this case, we will try to calculate f of x. So, f of x. Now, suppose x is irrational. Okay, so you have to note this carefully. Suppose x is irrational. What is f of x? Suppose x is irrational, f of x will be 1 minus x. So, therefore, this is f of, now this f of irrational will be 1 minus x. So, note that. So, if x is irrational, f of x will be 1 minus x. So, this f of x will become 1 minus x. Now, notice this carefully. Now, we know x is irrational. We know x is irrational. Okay. Now, if x is irrational, we know 1 minus irrational will be again irrational. So, 1 minus x, if x is irrational, 1 minus x will be again irrational. So, therefore, that means this whole thing, since x is irrational, 1 minus x also becomes irrational. Okay. Now, again what is f of irrational? So, f of irrational is 1 minus irrational. Therefore, f of, now see this students, f of x is 1 minus x. So, f of 1 minus x will be 1 minus this 1 minus x. Yeah. So, now you have to note this carefully. If it is rational, f of x will be same thing. If it is irrational, f of x will be 1 minus that thing. So, since 1 minus x is irrational, so f of that something will be 1 minus that thing. So, it will be 1 minus x. Yeah. Now, what happens is this 1 and minus 1 cancels. So, minus of minus x becomes x, and in both the cases you get the same answer. So, if it is rational also it is x, if it is irrational also it is x. So, in both cases you get f of x is equal to x. Therefore, option C will be the right answer.